All right, today we are going to talk about the top 6 ways to reduce your screen time on your phone. I looked at mine recently and the screen time was off the charts. So I thought I needed to step in and do something about that. So let's take a look here. Let me just start recording for the phone portion. So let's take a look here at way number one. So we're going to want to set up screen time alerts. Setting up screen time alerts is the first method here to reduce our screen time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into settings. We are going to just search here for screen time. Boom, there it is. As you can see, mine's pretty high, 6 hours and 16 minutes, but it is down 15% from last week when I started using this method. I think it's been a couple weeks now. We've been down each week. And then what we're going to do is go into app limits. What I did to start out with, I toggled this on, this app limits. And then what I had done initially was I just set the limit for all apps, but that got a little bit overwhelming because after I hit my screen time limit, what I would do is I would try to go into any app and then it was hitting me with a pop-up saying, "Hey, you've reached your limit. Do you want to override, etc." So doing that for every app is a little bit fatiguing, but doing that for these three categories here, games, entertainment, and social, I think those are the ones that take up most of the time. And then it's also not too cumbersome to go and click through those. I kind of like clicking through an extra notification there to kind of pay my penance and make sure that I'm reducing the screen time, getting alerted, and then kind of being slowed down on using those apps in the games, entertainment, and social categories once I've hit my allotted time for the day. Here is one quick example of what happens if you have the screen time alerts set up and you hit your screen time for that day. Let me click on this New York Times Games app here and it shows a screen where it says time limit reached. You can click OK to leave the app or you can click ignore limit for today, and that will remove the block on that app for that day. But if you hit the screen time allotment the following day, tomorrow, for example, the pop up will reappear the next day once that screen time limit has been hit. So that is how you set those up there. All right, now we're going to move to the next item on this list, and that is deleting apps from your phone. And so I know that might seem like a little bit harsh, a little bit of a drastic move, but I promise you, if you delete an app from your phone, like Instagram, one of the apps that takes up a lot of time for you, you can re-download it, and Instagram actually has your info saved and allows you to kind of log in pretty easily because they want you back on the app. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna long press this Instagram app. I'm gonna hit remove, and then they really want you to keep it. It has another pop up that says like, "Are you sure?" Basically, do you want to just remove it from the home screen instead? You can go ahead and click delete. And it comes up one more time. It says it'll delete its data, etc. So then we're gonna have to click delete again, and then there you go, it's gone. I have found that deleting these apps, especially during the week, maybe re-downloading them on the weekends, that saves a lot of time because some of my times when I would accumulate screen time is when I'm seeing those apps, I'm clicking on them without even thinking, and then all of a sudden it's been 5-10 minutes and I'm just scrolling through mindlessly. um, Whereas this method, if I have it deleted, it's my choice if I want to go in and download it. There's that extra step. Go and download, fire that up, use it for as long as I want, and then delete it afterwards. All right, and now we are back. I've re-downloaded Instagram. I can honestly just go in and show you. I'm gonna ignore the time limit for today. And I've just deleted it and re-downloaded it. I'm gonna just hit continue, don't track, ask app not to track. And I'm already logged in here, as you can see. It's not even requiring me to log in again. They make it super easy. But let me move on to the third way to reduce screen time from your phone, and that is by removing an app from your home screen. So what we'll do is long press again. We'll click remove app and remove from home screen. That way, this method will give you the benefit of not having to delete the app completely. Say you don't want to like use extra data by re-downloading it when you're out and about and not on Wi-Fi. But you want to also avoid looking at the app passively, getting sucked in, clicking on it, and then losing time to passive scrolling. You can remove app from home screen as kind of a happy medium, so you're not just seeing it haphazardly. You actually have to go in and search for it here, um, and then open it that way. That is another good way to avoid um, using too much screen time. It is not as drastic as deleting your apps there, but it is a way to keep you from seeing the app and passively opening it. The next tip I have for reducing screen time is to have a clean first page of apps. So I actually set my first page to just the weather app. I saw this design somewhere and I liked it so much that I decided to use it. And it is nice to open your phone up and just have a clean first page instead of going to a first page that's loaded with apps that generally take a lot of your time. It may be convenient to put those apps on the first page of your phone, but you don't necessarily want that to be the first thing you see right when you unlock it. And that goes to my next tip. Tip number 5 of ways to reduce screen time is to curate your first full page of apps. And what I did, it was a pretty big change, but there's a default on the iPhone where a decent amount of apps are included. And I wanted to reduce mine down to just the bare essentials, what's needed. So for me, that's apps like the calendar, the Audible app I use quite a bit, and I don't see that as a time wasting app. New York Times games, the notes, settings, LA Fitness, check in app, etc. So none of those were big time wasters for me, and they also are ones that I use frequently. So I moved them up to the first full page of apps. Believe me, your other apps will still be there. They'll just be, a couple pages back. You may have to search for them, etc. But sometimes that can be good for reducing screen time, just increasing the friction there, and not having those time wasting apps be the first thing you see right when you log in. My last tip for reducing screen time is to actually leave your phone at home. I'm doing a trial right now where I had a second phone for some testing that I was trying to do with an Android for a previous project. And I was able to use that, kind of repurpose it, and buy a very cheap phone plan for it with Tello, about $6 or $7 a month, just to bring that with me for emergencies. But I've actually been leaving my iPhone at home, um, which is a very interesting feeling. I feel like it is relieving to have the iPhone at home. Just take a break from the expectation of responding right away and having folks constantly be able to contact me. But it's also gives me more things to think about. For example, if there was an emergency, if I needed something like the LA Fitness app to check in, go to the gym, if my car broke down and I needed to Uber somewhere. So it's definitely more stuff to think about. At first, I really wanted to get rid of the smartphone altogether, but it makes it really difficult with traveling and things like that. If you're by yourself, you really want to have some of those apps that you can call on and use in an emergency. They're really pretty critical. It's nice. I've heard, I think it's Jelly Roll and Ed Sheeran have said that they've been able to leave the smartphone behind and they just have I'm sure they have other folks on their team that have traveled with them and they have smartphones in case of emergencies. It's hard to do that if you're just a common person traveling by yourself, driving by yourself, etc. I would love to be able to do it. I did look at a couple of the flip phone options to go way back and go a little bit more low tech. Those were pretty low cost options as well. But I did end up just repurposing my Android and leaving the iPhone at home, maybe once or twice a week if I go to the gym or go out to get a smoothie or something like that, just to kind of get myself used to not having the phone always by my side, but still being able to have a way to contact someone in case of an emergency. Bonus way. All right, we got a bonus method. This is honestly method number one. I've just been doing it for so long that I kind of take it for granted. So the number one really way, this bonus way, number seven, number one, depending on how you want to look at it or how you prioritize it at home, is to turn off notifications that suck you in. Because a lot of the times it's the notification that comes to the lock screen and then it gets you to go into the phone, and that's what starts you using the app. It's not always just you going in and unlocking your phone of your own accord. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into settings. Still on my old settings. We're going to search for notifications. And a lot of times you want to do this per app. Let's see. So what's one that I turned off, for example? The biggest one that I turned off is like the text messages notification, which I feel like is crazy for a lot of people. But for me, like a text is one thing, but if someone really wants to um if someone really wants to contact me in like an emergency, they're gonna call. They're not just gonna text. So for me, I have just removed the sounds, of course, the lock screen, notification center, banners, don't show in CarPlay. I just have the badges, which are the little red dots in the corner of the Messages app. If you're looking at the actual Messages app in the dock itself. So that's like one, that's just one example. Obviously, like the social media apps is the next example because they hit you with a notification. Mine were just becoming increasingly less relevant. It was like, oh, an extended connections, birthdays tomorrow. It's not super pertinent to me because I'm not going to be reaching out to them. So I would turn off notifications like that. You can just go app by app. Turning off notifications is probably the number one way. That's the hook that gets you pulled in to kind of open up some of these apps and start using them passively without really thinking. So that is my bonus tip here. I hope those were helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe.